Hello, welcome to our 12th Pilates class, intermediate Pilates class. For each day I've got some leg work, so some squat type work. We've got a sequence for our core and then a sequence for our back as well, which will just help to get some strength through the back and help remind your body of that excellent posture we need to be in. So let's start off with that excellent posture. If you want to take your feet about hip distance apart for me, please, and just gently start to take the weight forwards, lift up to the balls of the feet. Take the weight backwards to balance on the heels. Okay, and just balancing forwards and backwards. Now, in order to do this more effectively, you can tuck your tailbone down. You can lengthen through your spine. You can grow taller through the back of the neck. And you can think about where your centre of gravity is. You can think about drawing your lower abdomen in. And you can think about lifting your pelvic floor. All of these things are going to give you so much central stability, okay, and make this balancing much more controlled. Okay, let's come up to the top and hold, and then gently bring the arms up to the ceiling and take a really nice big reach. And feel free to take a little walkabout now as you stretch with one arm and the other, to kind of down one side of the torso, down the other side, and coming back down towards the floor. So that should have stretched us out, lengthened us out. Let's just check in with that posture then. So we've got our knees above our ankles. We have got our hips above our knee joints. We have got our shoulder joints above our hip joints. Okay, I want you to think about tucking that tailbone into its neutral hip position. So do have a go at your pelvic tilts. Tuck the tailbone down and stick it out behind you and go through that range of motion at the pelvis. Imagine that bowl of water in the pelvis and you're pouring water out the front, you're pouring water out the back, and you're bringing that water level so that it's absolutely still and there's nothing spilling out. So we're lifting up through the ribs, so lifting up through the chest, and we're lifting through the crown of the head. We're letting the shoulders relax, let the shoulders feel heavy, and let the neck lengthen, particularly the back of the neck. Okay, think about lengthening there. So that should be us quite well set up. We're going to think about our shoulder blade position as well. So just take your shoulders up and back and down, and as you do so, feel your shoulder blades moving. So as the shoulders come forwards, the shoulder blades part. As you lift, the shoulder blades elevate. As you bring the shoulders back, they squeeze together and then they depress down in towards the back. So we're going spreading the shoulder blades and pulling them together and down and kind of in. Okay, so let's just think about that shoulder blade positioning. Give them a good squeeze, okay? Exaggerate the movement, squeeze them together. And we're going to hold at the top in a moment. So just do a couple more. 1 and 2. And we're going to take them up, take the shoulders back, hold. Okay, so we've got this quite open chest, we've got quite high shoulders. It's not particularly comfortable on the neck, but you can feel the shoulder blades really squeezing together. Now, as we gently let them go, you're going to keep squeezing together. So squeeze the shoulder blades together as you go down, together and down, and then just let the shoulders relax into position. Okay, and again, just think about neutral hips, think about lengthening through the neck, think about lifting the rib cage, and that is us set up in a lovely position. Okay, let's have a quick go at our breathing technique. We're going to do this standing up because we're going into some squat positions. So hands to the ribs. Okay, you can find your bones on the sides of the waist and just hold on to the whole of the rib cage. Now we're going to think about lifting that pelvic floor first of all. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Then draw the lower abdomen in towards the gut. Make sure you haven't let go of the pelvic floor. If you need to just practice and hold clenching and engaging the two, then please do that before you start complicating with the breath. But most of you are quite practiced at this, so you can do your pelvic floor, you can hold your abdomen in, and you can get rid of all of the breath from your body, and then you can take a breath in and push your hands apart. And you can exhale, expel that air from the rib cage. So lift your pelvic floor if, like me, you've just dropped it. I must say my pelvic floor training isn't as good not doing as much Pilates. It doesn't come as naturally. I'm having to think about it a bit more consciously. Whereas normally it's habitual for me. Core and pelvic floor do learn to work together, but it's something that does need constant practice. So keep that pelvic floor and core on, and keep using that kind of out and in breathing rather than the up and down breathing, the out and in. And when you've had a practice there and you are able to keep your breath going and your pelvic floor going and your core on, then you can move on to the next section. Quick warm up through the hips. We're going to go onto one leg and we're just going to circle the knee outwards. Okay, so nice big wide circles. Take that knee wide away from the body. And then we're going to just go the other way. So for about 6 or 7, bringing the knee in towards the centre line of the body. A couple more. And then onto the other leg. So just taking it out nice and wide first of all. And in. Oh, good click there in my hip. Click and a clunk. Okay, lovely, coming back through to centre. And just start to take the hips from side to side. So slightly wider than hip width here. Just about shoulder distance apart with the feet. And starting to take the hips from side to side. You can do this fairly slowly if you need to. If you're loosening off for the day. If you're already quite loose, feel free to go a bit wider. And I want you to resist the urge to send the kneecaps back. Okay, keep a soft knee as you go from side to side. Okay, try and just keep a nice gentle knee joint and get a little bit of a, you may even find a bit of a stretch down the outer thigh and into the hip there. Okay, and then we're going to take those feet in to hip width apart and go into our side bending. So ear to shoulder on the inhale. Exhale, hold the tummy in as you gently go down. Inhale, prepare. And then exhale to return. Let's go 2 more times. Ear to shoulder, inhaling. Exhale. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, return. And again, ear to shoulder. Exhaling. Inhaling. And exhaling, squeeze hips, squeeze core, coming back up to centre. And on the other side, ear to shoulder on the inhale. Exhale to take it down. Inhale, preparing. Exhale, squeeze hips, bottom, squeeze through the side of the waist. Return, ear to shoulder, inhale. Exhale. And return. And last time. Well done. Okay, into some nice easy loose rotations now from side to side. Don't take these too quickly, okay, even if you have loosened off. Your back, lower back can be quite sensitive here, and the mid back as well, so no need to go too quickly. And you may even feel like you just need to hold at the back. If you're near something you can hold on, that helps to kind of just give you a bit of force and push into the twist a bit more. This is one of my favourite things to do when I've got a stiff back, is find something to hold on to and just to twist into it. If you are doing that and you're holding the twist and pushing the twist, make sure you've still got the tallness through the spine, okay, so that you're not collapsing and bending as such. Okay, and once you've had a go at maybe holding or gentle twisting, we can come back to centre and just start to circle the arms back now. Just a few arm circles. You can feel free to get the knees bending as well if you want to. We will be doing some squats. So it might be a good idea just to get the ankles and the knees a little bit warm. I've already warmed the hips. Let's just do a couple more. And gently releasing. Okay, roll downs just to finish off the warm-up, to get that forward flexion into the spine. Feet hip distance apart, you know the drill. Standing in your lovely, lovely tall posture, please. Lift the pelvic floor up, draw the lower abdomen in. Inhale on your preparation. And gently into that roll down, drawing the belly in, remember. Nice, hunched back, getting as much space into the back as you can. And rolling down towards the toes. Don't worry if you're not at the toes yet. Just focus on lengthening the back of the neck, relaxing the head. Okay, the crown pulls you towards the floor and your tailbone sticks up towards the ceiling. Now careful when you adjust your tailbone to stick it up, that your knees remain soft and that your toes remain wiggly. Okay, it can be very tempting to just shove the bottom up and take some of the body weight forwards. We want weight in the tripod still. Inhale on your preparation. And exhale, bend knees, engage around the hips, tucking the tailbone down, engaging in the core to bring yourself back up, restacking that spine one vertebra at a time. Inhale, preparing. Exhale, try and hold on to your pelvic floor this time as you go down. So lift your pelvic floor, draw your abdomen in, lift the pelvic floor, lift the pelvic floor. Really well done if you're managing to keep it up. Lift the pelvic floor, relax down. Okay, if you can reach your toes, see if you can take your fingertips and hook them underneath your toes. If you've got further to go, you may be able to slide the palms underneath the feet and give your hands a bit of a massage. Okay, and just encourage the back of that neck to lengthen, the tailbone to lift up to the ceiling, and you are folding and rolling over the hips. So forwards and over the hip bones. As I say, you can give your hands a bit of a massage if you want to. If you want to get lower down, you can always just bend the elbows out to the side of you, out left and right, and see if it will just bring the torso a little bit closer. And when you are ready to come back up safely, remove the hands or fingertips. Bend through the knees, inhale. Exhale, start to squeeze through the legs, tuck the tailbone down, squeezing through the pelvic floor and the core as we start to realign the body. The next section is going to be just to look at the arches in our feet, okay? So we're going to look at lifting the arches and lowering them. So if you want to gently start to roll your ankles in and out, you'll see that the arches kind of lift away from the ground and come back in. You might also start to feel some muscles actually where the arches are in the sole of the foot starting to work a little bit, which is good. It's a good thing. Okay, and then gently bring the ankles above the heels and try and place that weight through the tripod. So we've got weight through the balls of the feet, weight through the heels of the feet, and your toes should be nice and long and fairly wide as well to give you that stability if you can. So that should be your arches well set up, important for coming onto our squats. Now there's an option here just to do your ordinary squat. If you've got a ball at home, feel free to come and have a go at some narrower squats. So with the ball in between the knees if you're going for those narrow squats. It just means that it brings your feet pretty much hip width rather than that wider squat position that some of us prefer. If you are doing this, it might ruin your balance a little bit, so I'm actually going to come just to hold on whilst I do these narrow squats. So we've got the arches raised, okay, I've got weight through the heels and through the balls of the feet. My toes are free to wiggle all the time. Okay, I'm going to focus on trying to keep my tailbone tucked down. So the bottom's going kind of backwards, but the tailbone's tucking down towards the floor rather than out behind me. Okay, so when you're ready, keep that straight spine, shoulders up, back and down to keep the thoracic in place, drawing the abdomen in, lifting the pelvic floor. Let's inhale to take it down and then exhale to bring it back up. And I do just need that extra something to hold on to stop me falling over backwards with this narrower position. So it's going to be an inhale, take it down, and an exhale, bring it back up. Inhale, take it down. Exhale, back up. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Try and keep that spine tall. We're not looking for any curved backs. Some of you will find this really easy. Some of you, like me, will find this quite a challenge in this position. Let's go for 2 more. So some of this is going to require some quite loose calves, like most of our squats. Some of it's going to require some nice strong hips to keep your pelvis in position. Because as you go down, your pelvis will either want to tuck down or stick out, okay? And that just depends on the strengths and weaknesses and tightnesses in your pelvis. And obviously your pelvic tilt position in a squat, so say your tailbone's tucked down, it's going to encourage a hunched back in the squat position. Say your tailbone likes to stick out, it's going to encourage an arched back in the squat. Okay, so it's all about trying to get everything in the correct alignment, and you can do that in front of a mirror if you want to. So we're going to go through that one more time. I'm going to try without something to hold on to this time. So we'll see how this goes. Feel free to just take your narrow hip width stance or grab your ball, and when you're ready, inhale, try and keep that back straight. Exhale. So checking in still that the arches are still pretty good in the feet. Okay, that's quite important here. We're sending the bottom back and the tailbone down slightly. Hands are coming out in front to support, but we're still trying to keep the chest, the ribs and the head up. Okay, and you're getting that lovely push through the heels and the balls of the feet to lift you. And remember what I was saying about that pelvic tilt. If you know you're quite prone to tucking down or sticking out, we want to try and compensate for that. So I know I'm quite prone to sticking out, so I'm trying really hard as I squat down to tuck my tailbone under a little bit. If you're the other way around and you do tend to arch and hunch, maybe try and stick your tailbone out behind you a little bit more. Let's just go for 2 more. Really good. Well done. Okay, so the narrower the squat, we've just done our narrow ones, the more you'll use the quads. The wider you go, you'll bring the hamstrings in a little bit more and the bum a bit more. The quads are still working in a wide squat as well though. Right, let's move on. We're going to have a go at a single leg squat. These are not easy. You'll find it easier probably to hold on to something for this movement. As I say, single leg squats just on one leg. There's different places you can put your legs, okay? Now you can take the leg straight forward, engage through the quad, so you're still working that leg. And then as you take that down, you've got to try and keep that foot off the ground, okay? I found that one quite tricky, requires a lot of hip stability. You can also do a squat if you've got quite a slidey floor. You can take one leg out to the side and then push to lift. And that means you have still got some of the weight of the spare leg supported, so it makes it a bit easier. Quite tricky on this mat in bare feet. Maybe some socks might be handy if you want to have a go at that kind of variety, but it's quite tricky there. My favourite option is to bring a block to stand on, because already it increases the difficulty in that it reduces stability, but I find that really helpful because it means that my muscles are firing up much better to hold me steady, so I do a more effective squat, which is weird. The kind of harder work makes it easier in many respects. And for this one, I just simply pick up the foot up towards the back side, and I would take a nice squat down, hopefully balance, push through the block to lift up. And I find that need for balance, that requirement from the muscles, helps the muscles to kick in a lot better than it does on the floor. So choosing whichever position you would like, obviously come near a chair or something to hold on to if you want to. I would definitely recommend that, either from the floor or from a block. We're just going to do maybe 3 on each leg, and then we'll come back and see how we're going with that. So as I say, when you're ready, we're taking a lot of strength and stability through this leg, but also through the hips. So tall spine, lift through the pelvic floor, draw the abdomen in. Let's inhale to sink down, bend the knee, weight through the tripods. Exhale, push through the tripod to lift. Inhale down. Exhale to lift. I'm going to go for one more. And exhale to lift. I'm going to have a go on the other side now. So all I'm doing is lifting the heel up to the bottom, but completely what works for you is fine. Just trying to take most of the weight through one leg. So check that your knee is tracking in the same direction as the toes as well, that we've not got knees coming in. My knee definitely tends to come in, so just one to watch. So when you're ready, inhale, take it down. Exhale, push. And I'd want that to be a controlled return, not a panicked return. So again, exhale to push up. Well done if you're doing it on this block. The wobble is definitely there, the extra balance element. Take that bottom down and push to return. Okay, so we're going to build up to do 4 on each leg. I'm going to have a go on the floor because I don't usually. I think it's good to keep trying. It will work the legs in subtle different ways. So from the floor, I'm going to have a go. I'm going to do 4 again on each leg. So I'm just picking the foot up towards the back side, or you might prefer to slide the toe out and slide the toe in if you have that nice slidey surface available to you. It's definitely easier. Okay, so when we're ready, we have lifted the pelvic floor up, we have drawn the tummy in, we have improved our thoracic alignment. Okay, long neck. Inhale, let's gently sink the bottom down. Exhale, push through the tripod. Inhale down. Exhale. I'm going for 2 more. Really nice. And onto the other side. Onto one leg. Pick the heel up. Okay, you will get that lean forward slightly. Try your best to kind of correct the pelvis as we spoke about earlier in our double leg squats. 4 in your time. Off we go. Definitely worse on this side. That's my weak hip. Remember, try to get that control so we're not returning on a panic. Okay, we're returning with that control, with that stability. Perfect. And when you finish, just give it a bit of a shake off. So we're going to stick with legs just for a bit. We're going to do a lunge into a knee raise. Now, to get a good lunge position, I found it best to start from the bottom and then work your way up. So I would come to a kneeling position on one leg. So you're looking for a right angle here, and a right angle here. You're going to curl your back toes underneath, okay, and make sure that your width is hip width. Okay, the wider, the more stable you'll be, the narrower, the more wobbly you'll be. And all you're going to do is push through the ball of the foot in the back foot to just lift the knee. And that's the bottom of your lunge position. You're going to squeeze around the bottom to push. Okay, and you're just going to go down to hover above the floor. So keep the spine nice and tall. What you see here is people, as they go down and up, they end up coming kind of forwards and backwards. What you want to aim to do is to keep your body top to bottom. So you're just going down and up, and that keeps the weight central through the hips and evenly distributed between the legs. As soon as you start to lean forwards or backwards, you're going to put a lot of weight through like the knees and the ankles, and they're not going to appreciate it. So try and keep it nice and even. Let's do a couple more. And inhale down, exhale to lift, inhale down, exhale to lift. Weight into the front foot, bend the front knee, step in. Let's have a go on the other side, and then we're going to progress it. So again, I would gently come down to one knee and just check my positioning. This is how I begin every single lunge I would do. Okay, check your right angles and check your width, and then you're just going to hover, inhale, exhale to push up. And remember, we're taking the body up and down, not forwards and backwards. Inhale down, exhale up. We're going to go for 4 more. Check the knee and the toe are tracking in the same direction. The other common mistake is that, you should be in the correct position because we aligned at the beginning, but the other mistake that you see is short lunges, so that as you go down, the knee sticks out and protrudes ahead of the toes, and that puts force through the knee joint, which it doesn't like. Okay, so when you finish those, weight into the front foot and step in, shake it off. So we're going to add in a knee raise from the lunge. The return back to the lunge is going to be quite hard because you're going to have to step that back leg behind you blindly. Let's come to our lunge position to start. It's going to be one big movement all the way up to a knee raise. So this back knee is going to come up and through to a standing position with a knee raise. So let's inhale, prepare. I'm going to take the hands out. Exhale, I'm going to take the weight through, lift, knee raise. Inhale, lunge down, exhale. Inhale, lunge down, exhale. 3 more. The last one. And gently to return. Okay, onto the other side. Let's start from our lunge position and get familiar with this position because we've got to find it as we step back from our knee raise. Hands up, inhale, prepare, exhale, inhale, exhale, let's go for 3 more. And gently down, easy, piece of cake. If your knees and your legs are feeling a bit achy, a bit warm, that's really good. Let's move on to our core sequence. So I've just taken the time to go and get a quick drink, and now we're going to go on to our core sequence. We're going to lie down onto the floor. We're going to just come a little bit closer, I think, to the camera to give me some space. And we're going to go into our star crunches first of all. So these are going to start from our tabletop position, which you're all very familiar with. So we need to imprint the spine, go to stable spine position, make sure that back is imprinted on the floor. Lift a leg to tabletop. Okay, make sure you can still keep that stable spine, and then lift the other leg in as well, and just get comfortable there. We're going to take the hands out as well, and it's basically a double arm and double leg extension, but we're going to be going wide into a star shape and then back in to our double tabletop. So when you're ready, very nice and simple. Inhale to prepare, exhale, inhale, return, inhale, return. And obviously the lower you take your limbs, extend your limbs down towards the floor, the harder this is. But it's really nice because it just challenges the core on the diagonal. We're very used to doing forwards, backwards movements, extensions in Pilates. It's really nice to just challenge the core in a different direction. So make sure that you are maintaining that stable spine, maintaining that lower back nice and flat on the floor. So there's no curve in the lumbar. Starting to get a little bit of a tummy shake. We're going for 2 more. And again. And back in and relax. So obviously, to make this a bit harder, you could always hold on to something in each hand, or ankle weights. You can get fairly light ankle weights. You can get ones that actually have pouches that you can put weights into and remove pouches from, so that you can adjust the weights on them. But obviously, if you do enough of these, you start to feel it anyway. So do just take a pause, and then we're going to come into that again. We're going to go for a set of 12. So when you're ready, coming to your tabletop, nice and safely. Draw the abdomen in, or lift the pelvic floor up. Inhale, prepare. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. That's 3. 5, 6, 7. Oh, these get tough. 8, 9. Obviously, if you want to make them easier, you just go a little bit higher with the legs. That's 10, 11, and finally 12. Lovely. And gently back down to the floor. Now, if you need to ease your back off, I'd go maybe side to side with the knees, or you might want to just hug into a ball, or maybe take a stretch through the belly. So you can do your ball hugs, or you can do your big stretch. And we're going on for one final set of our star-shaped crunches. So when you're ready, gently bringing into tabletop, nice and safely, getting comfortable. Draw the pelvic floor up, draw the lower abdomen in. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, keep that back on the floor. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, nearly there, 10, 2 more, and last one. Lovely, bring it in. And again, ease your back off in whichever way suits you, whether it's those side to side legs, whether it's you curling into a ball, or whether it's your full body stretch. So take that time to ease off, and I will take us into the next exercise, for which I would recommend an object. I'm just going to use a block. You could use a cushion, you could use the ball, whatever you want to. We're going to have a go at a tabletop crunch. So when you're ready, again, we'll probably start from the tabletop position. If you want to, you can do this with feet on the floor. We're just going to be gently taking the block overhead, and we're going to be coming to do a kind of a sit-up. So if you want to do that from the floor, you can. But we're going to have a go from tabletop because it's a little bit trickier. So lifting safely up to tabletop position, block or ball or object overhead. So that's stretched out the abdomen. We're drawing the abdomen in, we're lifting the pelvic floor, we're imprinting our spine, we're inhaling, preparing. And we are exhaling to just take the block up, place it down, inhale, release. Exhale, retrieve, inhale, release. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. If you want to, you can add in a leg extension there. Careful the object doesn't roll off you. Let's go for 2 more. And then gently releasing. I can really start to feel that after the diamond crunches as well. So you might not have seen because you may have been working quite hard. I'll demonstrate the leg extension progression as well. So the normal movement was simply keeping the legs in tabletop and placing the ball or the block. This one with the leg extension was as you remove it and you go overhead, you outstretch everything. Okay, so like a double leg and arm extension, but trying to keep your object on your shins. If you've got something wobbly that's wobbling off, you could always place the object between the legs, okay, between the knees, and that just keeps it in position. Okay, so once you've eased off, taken a bit of a break if you need one, we're going to go again. So remember, you can always just take this into roll-ups and sit-ups if you want to, otherwise tabletop. So inhale with the block overhead, stable spine, pelvic floor and core in. And then exhale to sit up. Inhale, extend. Exhale, retrieve. Inhale, extend. Exhale. We're going for 3 more. Last one. Gently release. And again, just take whatever stretch or easing you want to do. So ready for our 3rd set of those. Option here to, just thinking we can make this a little bit harder again if you want to. If you are going to make it harder, feel free to kind of tap out and do fewer repetitions. But if you are going to make this harder, we're going to go from our tabletop. As we reach up to place the ball or the object on the legs, we're going to see if we can come up to our teaser and then come down to extension. So it's going to be teaser to extension, teaser to extension. Okay, and I think we did something similar in the video last week, so if you managed that last week and can remember that, go ahead. Otherwise, feel free to do what we've just been doing so far. Okay, so when you're ready, tabletop position, object overhead, pelvic floor up, tummy drawn in. Inhale on your prep, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Remember, you're going chin to chest as you lift the head and shoulders. Protect the neck. Let's just do 2 or 3 more. If you do any teaser, well done. Feel free to take a break whenever you want to. Last one. And release, well done. I feel those really get me, those ones. Okay, just side to side. With those knees if you need to, or take your stretch or roll into your ball. Okay, our next movement is going to be a dish hold. We're just going to try this for a number of seconds. Well, we'll do it for a number of breaths, I think. It's always better to measure in breaths than seconds because it encourages you to breathe deeply. So the dish hold we're going to be doing is we simply make a dish shape with the body. So it's going to be from our tabletop position. It's going to be legs extended, chin tucked in, and then see if we can come to balance on the sacrum, coccyx, the sacrum, that area there. Okay, so it's best to rock into it, I think, from tabletop, or either to start from your seated position and lower down into it. That can be a good option as well. So just have a practice now at getting into it. You can either start from your sit bones and gently lower down, okay, or you can start from tabletop, extend the legs and gently rock up to it. Okay, so whatever you prefer, we're just going to try and hold for 3 breaths in and 3 breaths out. So let's prepare, come into whichever position you found best, and let's go into our static dish hold. Breathe in, breathe out 3 times. Try and keep the ribs up. And when you've finished, you can take a pause. Now, if 3 breaths wasn't too bad, I want you to go for more. So try 4 breaths, try 5 breaths, try 6. Judge it, but make sure that you're not building up too much tension kind of around the neck and shoulders, and do check that you are using your tummy really, really well. It should be really clenching nice and tightly. So let's go. I'm going to go for 4 breaths in, 4 breaths out. You do whatever you fancy doing. So in your start position and gently down to your dish hold. Strong quads, tummy in, pelvic floor in, ribs up. And that was my 4 breaths. Nice shaky legs, nice shaky tummy. So I was quite happy with 4 breaths. I'm going to go for 6 breaths on this next one, I think. And this is quite a nice one because you can do this quite regularly and just see how many breaths, or even get a timer and see how many seconds. If you can increase this by kind of each day or each week, depending how often you do it. And the good visual, the good kind of thing to think about is trying to keep your bottom ribs and your hips nice and close to one another, because that will encourage that crunch and that engagement through the tummy. So that's what I would recommend, is pelvis and rib cage coming towards one another. So again, when you're ready, going for however many breaths you want. I'm doing 6. I'm going to prepare and gently lower down. Ribs and pelvis. And that is 6 breaths. So well done if you managed that. You can come up to seated position. I'm just going to do a few little twists. Take the hand to the opposite knee, keep the spine tall, and take a little twist from side to side. So I'm going to take a forward fold as well, so you can sit in whatever's comfortable for you. Legs crossed is comfortable for me. I'm just going to take that gentle dive forwards and just stretch out through the back there. And then gently releasing. So for our back sequence, it would be really, really helpful if you owned a resistance band, because these are going to be most effective. If you don't have a resistance band, like a towel rolled up or a blanket, and this one's a little bit chunky, you could probably use a smaller one. And it means if you can use one of these, there isn't much stretch in them, but you're going to pull and hold in a static hold as long and hard as you can. So whichever piece of equipment you're using, we're going to be doing our row. So you're going to take the band around the feet. I've just looped it underneath the soles of the feet. Perhaps if I go sideways on, you can see that a little bit better. So I've gone band around the soles of the feet. I'm sitting with a straight spine with shoulders above hips, and we're just holding on nice and securely with the band, and I'm going to pull the elbows narrow, so pulling them in towards the rib cage and back. Okay, and as I'm in this position, I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together and gently releasing. So the back doesn't need to move, the back stays nice and tall, the spine stays tall, the elbows stay narrow as they pull back. So nice and simple. If you're doing that with a towel or a blanket rolled up, you're going to hold on to the end and you're going to keep pulling against the resistance there. Okay, so just pull, 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 and imagine you're squeezing your shoulder blades together and pulling there. And it is effective, okay? It's static, so it's strengthening kind of the endurance of the muscle, and it will help the postural stability there as well. But obviously, band gets you a wider range, a fuller range of movement. So we're going to hold either for 10 seconds, 10 to 12 seconds, or you're going to do 8 pulls. So when you're ready, inhale, prepare, and exhale. So if you're holding, make sure that your shoulders are nice and low. I mean, whichever position you're doing, make sure your shoulders are low, your neck is long. And you're squeezing those shoulder blades, pulling those shoulder blades together, and pause, release there, okay? And just ease off, shake off if you want to, or take your stretch forwards if you want to. So you could also use like a yoga strap or a belt or something if you're finding a towel a bit annoying. I'll do it with the towel next, just so that I'm demonstrating both of them. So again, as I say, we're going to hold, you're either doing about 8 rows or you're just going to hold kind of 10 to 12 seconds if you're pulling with the towel or the band or the strap. So when you're ready, you've got shoulders above hips, you're inhaling to prepare. And you're exhaling, just pulling, squeezing those shoulder blades. Keep those elbows in. Don't let the elbows stick out. Bring the elbows in and just pull. Squeeze shoulder blades. Nice and tall through the neck, nice and low through the shoulders. Breathing. And when you've done your 8, or you've held for 10 to 11 seconds, you can take your pause there. Okay, we will do one more set and then we're going to do a little bit of a different back exercise. So again, using the towel or using the band. Let's get going. You're holding for 10 to 12 seconds or you're doing 8 repetitions. Elbows in, shoulders low, spine tall. Squeezing with those shoulder blades. Okay, really well done. Again, you can just give it a wiggle or a shake out if you want to. So moving on to our next back exercise, you'll need to find a little bit of wall space. Okay, we're going to come to do our wall angels. So you want to stand against your wall. I'm actually against a door here, so We'll see how this goes. Hopefully it won't move too much. And you're going to be doing, it's a bit like a snow angel on the floor. We've got our feet about hip distance apart. You want to try and get your bottom on the wall. So bottom on the wall. Then there's a curve where your lower back comes away from the wall. And then your shoulder blades are on the wall as well. And the back of the head, nice long neck. See if you can take your hands, backs of the hands to the wall. Then bend the elbows up, okay? And this is where it'll get tricky on your shoulders. So we've got back, bottom, shoulders and arms on the wall. And you're just going to gently see if you can go up and then gently come down. So just work at it. If you're kind of getting to here and going, oh, I can't get any further, that's fine. You do the bottom bit and just see if you can breathe into the lift. So just on your exhale for the tricky bit. So remember, we've got bottom on, we've got lower back curving off, and we've got shoulder blades, shoulders and arms on the wall. And this, in combination with our seated row position that we just did, is going to just really reinforce that thoracic posture. So completely nice and flat, really opening through the chest, tightening through the back. Let's just go for a few more. You can do loads of these. You can do them quite quickly as well if you want kind of a really quick posture fix, or you could hold something heavy in each hand to make it a little bit harder, to make it more strengthening. Lovely. Last one. We'll bring those arms down and we'll gently come away from the wall. And you should feel that you're more upright, that you're being held back more, that your chest's a bit fuller, and your shoulders and your back are more correct. Hopefully that's the feeling you're getting. So we'll finish off with a inner thigh and hip strengthener, and then we'll get stretching. So if you want to come to lie down on the floor one more time, I'm going to go this way with my back to you so that you can see what my legs are doing. We're going to go up into our tabletop position, okay, and then gently straighten through the legs. Now you can point the toes and engage through the quads to keep the legs nice and straight. We're going to take them out to the sides in a nice straddle. So kind of just go as far as you can. Hold. Inhale there. And exhale, just gently start to bring the legs back in. Okay, and it's just going to start to engage down these inner thighs. We're going to really slow this down now. So when you're ready, we're going to go into our nice wide straddle, kind of as far as you're happy to go. Point those toes, engage those quads, inhale, and in for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And straddle. Inhale. And in 10, 9, keep those quads on, toes pointed, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And in 10, 9, 8, 7, keep pointing those toes, keep those thighs nice and strong, 3, 2, 1, and again, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and again, and in for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, point the toes, 3, 2, and 1. Lovely. Just hug the knees into the chest and take a rest there. Okay, let's go full body stretch then. Gently reaching from head to toe, from fingertips to the tips of the toes. And bring these hands and legs in. So take your right leg, cross it over the left knee, and take the knees over to the left hand side. just to twist through the spine. You can look over your right shoulder towards your right hand. Head to centre, engage through the waist, gently bring the knees back in, and we go the other way. So left leg crosses over the right and send it down to the right hand side, looking over your left shoulder there. Keep both your shoulders on the ground, so don't let this left shoulder lift. Head to centre, engage through the waist. Bring the legs back in. Okay, we want to do some stretching for the outside of the thighs for those squats that we did earlier. So we'll go to our pigeon. If you want to take the left ankle onto the right knee, you can push the left leg away if you want to. That might give you enough of a stretch down this thigh into the bottom, or you might want to just lift the right leg off the ground and pull those legs in towards you and breathe. And just enjoy the peace, enjoy the slowing down, the cool down. I mean, it's still hot today. I don't know when this video gets to you, what the weather will be like, but it's really nice to just take a pause, regather, re-engage with the breath, crossing over, swap sides after exercising. Particularly at the start of that class, I think anything you do with your legs gets you much more out of breath, because the legs are such a huge muscle, okay, particularly the thighs. Huge muscles. So they do tire you quickly, they require a lot of oxygen, so you get more out of breath. So it's nice when we can just take a bit of time to stop, pause, stretch, get the breath back, and just slow down. So once you've stretched that on both sides, I'm going to ask you to pop your legs down and see if you can come up to a seated position. I could quite happily lie there all day and fall asleep, I think, but we'd best finish the stretches. So we're going to do our inner thigh stretches. If you want to take your feet together and let your knees fall out to the side there, you can increase this stretch by wiggling your bum towards your heels or your heels towards your bum. Okay, and then you can apply some pressure just by resting the forearms on the knees, and it should push the knees down towards the mat and open, particularly in the inner thigh there, quite close to the groin, so the shorter adductor muscle there. If you need a bit more as well, I mean, we're trying to sit with a fairly tall spine, but you can start to lean in with a straight spine in towards the stretch if you want to. Okay, so just hold where is comfortable for you. You can hold the feet, you can hold, as I say, arms on the knees. And just get that stretch inside the hip joint. And when you've had enough, you can just let the legs straighten out and give your legs a bit of a wiggle, bit of a shake. And we're going to just do our obliques just to stretch through the core. So your legs in whatever comfortable position you like. And we're going to take one arm up, we're going to lift up through the chest and the ribs, reach up and over, and take that lovely stretch between the hip and the rib cage. Love this one, it's so good. I find that as I was saying earlier with the squats, because I tend to stick my bottom out and stick my tailbone out, my obliques work really hard along with my hip flexors to try and keep my tailbone tucking under. So this stretch really gets my obliques nicely, which get tight after squatting. You'd think legs get tight after squatting, wouldn't you? But it's all connected. So just stretched on the other side. Getting that lovely bit through the side of the waist. These oblique muscles. And then push it into the floor and gently lift. Just going to finish off with a little bit of a stretch for the neck, a bit of a nod of the head. So sitting with shoulders above hips, you're just going to take the ear towards the shoulder, and that might well be enough. You might just want to let the shoulders drop down towards the hip bones and let the neck stretch out. And then if you want to, once you've sat here for a breath or two, you can start to just nod the chin forwards, and as you do it will bring the stretch further around the back of the neck. You might like it, you might not. If you don't like it, just gently come back up to that first position. If you want to, you can take the opposite hand and just rest some pressure, not loads, just onto the head to encourage the stretch. And you can hold that for as long as you want to. I'm going to take us gently through to the centre so that we can do the other side. I'm just going to circle the shoulders in the middle, and then I'm going on to the other side. So ear to shoulder, still got shoulders above hips. And you might want to stay here, or you may want to take that nod of the chin, that nod of the head. Okay, or you might just want to come back to that first position. It's up to you. If you're in that first position, you may want to add that pressure, that extra weight of the hand. And releasing, and slowly back through to centre. And just roll those shoulders back. So we're going to come up to our feet and finish off with a few breaths. So I'm going to roll up, Pilates roll up style. And feet hip distance apart. Let's reach down. Inhale up. And exhale. And inhaling. And exhaling. And inhale. And gently bring those hands back down to the sides. I hope that's made you feel good. It always makes me feel fantastic. So thank you for joining me, and enjoy the rest of your day.